You know, it feels like every week there's just this tidal wave of new gadgets and research hitting the health and fitness world,
Yeah.
keeping up with what actually matters for your own well-being. It can feel like a sport in itself.
Absolutely. And that's really why we're here to do some of that heavy lifting for you.
Mm.
We've sifted through the latest announcements, dug into some interesting science, and, kept a close eye on the experts
Right.
to bring you the key insights that can genuinely make a difference in how you approach your fitness, your health.
And this week, we've got a really diverse set of topics. Everything from like cutting-edge sleep tech to new tools for tracking your performance, a look at the science behind supplements, updates in the virtual training space. Plus, as always, we're tapping into the detailed analysis from the 5K runner.
Always a great source.
Fantastic source, yeah. Especially for their perspective on sleep, overall wellness, and that crucial concept of health span. So let's dive right in, shall we? We're starting with something designed to, well, upgrade your sleep from the ground up.
We are. We're talking about the brand new 8 Sleep Pod 5. This is their 5th version, their 5th iteration of this sleep system.
Right.
And it's really all about enhanced temperature regulation and more detailed sleep tracking. What's interesting here is how they've structured the lineup. You've got 3 different models now,
Okay.
the Core, the Plus, and the Ultra. It makes you wonder about their strategy,
Yeah.
targeting different user needs and budgets.
Right. So the Pod 5 core, that's the foundation. You get the mattress cover itself and the control hub. And the core benefits across all versions are, well, that incredible ability to independently cool or heat each side of the bed.
That's the key feature, really.
Yeah, if you share a bed and have wildly different temperature preferences, I mean, this could be a total game changer.
Totally.
Plus, it's packed with sensors. It tracks your sleep stages, heart rate, that's your beats per minute, heart rate variability, or HRV.
Which is a great recovery metric.
Exactly, key indicator of recovery. If you're snoring, even your breathing rate, and all without you needing to wear a thing.
Yeah, wearable free tracking.
And instead of some jarring alarm, it uses like gentle vibrations or changes in temperature to wake you.
Nice.
In the US, a full-size core starts around, $2,849, which, as the 5K runner pointed out, is a notable jump in price from the Pod 4.
Yeah, quite a jump. Likely due to tariffs, they mentioned.
Yeah, probably. Prices in the EU and UK are in a similar sort of ballpark.
Okay, so moving up the ladder, you've got the Pod 5 Plus.
Right.
This takes the Core and adds a temperature-regulated blanket.
A blanket, too. Okay.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's an interesting extension of their core tech. By adding a blanket that also integrates with the system, 8 Sleep is aiming for a more complete, maybe more effective thermal experience.
Makes sense.
They claim this doubles the heating and cooling power.
Doubles it. Wow.
Yeah. For this extra layer, though, the U.S. price jumps up to $4,099. Again, similar increases in Europe. It does make you wonder if the added benefit really justifies that significant price jump for most users.
And then we have the ultimate experience, the Pod 5 Ultra.
The top tier.
This one includes everything: the cover, the hub, the blanket, and an adjustable base.
Okay, now we're talking serious features.
Yeah, here's where things get really next level. This base offers what they call back pressure relief with zero gravity elevation. It can slightly raise your head, which can help reduce snoring.
That could be useful for a lot of people.
Totally. And it even has built-in surround sound speakers for things like sleep, soundscapes, meditation, or even your alarm.
Built-in sound, huh?
Yeah, it's a substantial upgrade from the previous Ultra model. However, it comes at a premium, starting at $6,099 for a queen in the U.S.
Wow, okay. What's critical, though, for anyone considering any of these models, is the mandatory monthly autopilot subscription, at least for the first year.
Ah, the subscription model.
Right, exactly. This subscription unlocks the intelligent features, gives you access to your historical sleep data, enables those automatic temperature adjustments based on your sleep, your preferences, even the ambient temperature in your room.
So it's not just the hardware costs.
No. And there are different subscription levels: standard, enhanced, and elite. And these even impact the length of your warranty. This trend of subscription models for hardware, it's definitely something you're seeing more and more across tech. It raises that question about the long-term cost versus the perceived value,
Exactly. And the 5K runner's takeout neatly sums it up: expensive, excellent, and silent.
Good summary.
They highlight the potential for improved sleep, the real benefit for couples with different temperature needs. They also note the impressive accuracy of the sleep data.
Which is important.
Very. However, they do question if the blanket really adds significant value beyond the already pretty sophisticated temperature regulation in the cover itself.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
And they point out that the ongoing subscription cost is a definite downside. They also touch on a potential limitation, how well the system handles, like big swings in room temperature.
That's a practical concern. This brings up a key point. While the tech sounds incredibly advanced, the total cost of ownership, especially with that recurring subscription, it's a significant investment.
No kidding.
The reader comments on the 5K Runner site certainly reflect this. Lots of mentions of the eye-watering prices.
I bet.
But there's also a clear recognition that it's a high-quality product that likely serves its target market well. It makes you think about how much you're willing to invest for potentially optimal sleep.
It really does. Okay, let's move from the bedroom to your workouts. Garmin has just unveiled a new top-tier chest strap, the HRM 600.
Yes, the HRM 600. And what's particularly interesting about this one is that Garmin has packed in features that allow it to be used quite effectively even without being directly paired with a smartwatch.
Oh, really? Standalone use?
To some extent, yeah. It's priced at £149.99, available very soon.
Mhm.
And one of the most talked about new features is something called step speed loss.
Step speed loss, what's that?
It's a new running dynamic designed to work with the new Forerunner 970. We'll talk about that later. But it essentially analyzes how much speed you lose with each foot strike. This kind of metric could be really valuable for runners looking to optimize their efficiency,
That sounds incredibly insightful for serious runners. And it also has the capability for standalone activity recording, you said.
Exactly. So if you're playing a sport where a watch might be cumbersome or not allowed, basketball, swimming, maybe some martial arts,
Right.
the HRM 600 can track your heart rate, distance, calories burned, and more, all on its own.
Nice.
Plus, it's got a rechargeable battery. Garmin claims it'll last up to 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Pretty good. A welcome change from fiddling with those little coin batteries.
Definitely. The inclusion of a small multicolor LED indicator is a nice touch too. Gives you quick visual feedback on pairing, battery level. It offers both secure Bluetooth low energy BLE for connecting to up to 3 devices simultaneously.
3 devices. Okay.
And also the more traditional ANT Plus technology, which allows for unlimited connections to compatible devices.
Gotcha.
For swimmers, it can store your heart rate data during your swim and then forward it to a compatible watch afterwards.
Useful.
It even supports a wide array of multi-sport activities, including team sports, where it can track speed and distance when used with compatible Garmin devices or apps. This really expands its utility beyond just running and cycling.
So it's much more versatile than just a heart rate monitor for like traditional endurance sports.
Yeah, definitely seems that way.
The fact that it seamlessly integrates with the Garmin Connect app and can sync data in real time with Garmin watches, edge computers, even the Tacx indoor training app. That's pretty impressive if you're already in the Garmin ecosystem.
It is. And the 5K Runner's Takeout highlights that these new features, particularly the ability to use it without a watch, are a pleasant surprise. Could appeal to a broader range of athletes. However, they do raise a valid point about the rechargeable battery versus the very long lifespan you typically get from a standard CR2032 battery in older models.
Right. The longevity concern.
Exactly. It makes you wonder about the long-term reliability and, the hassle of remembering to charge yet another device.
That's a classic trade-off in modern tech, isn't it? Convenience often comes with needing more frequent charging.
It really does. The reader comments on the 5K Runner site mention that the replaceable belt is a big plus for durability.
Good point.
But some share that concern about the rechargeable aspect. It's also noted that it uses the familiar Garmin 4-pin charging connector.
Okay.
There's a lot of excitement around that new step speed loss metric, with users hoping it will be rolled out to more Garmin watches beyond just the 970.
You'd hope so.
Interestingly, there's also a comment pointing out the absence of metrics for cross-country skiing power, which were apparently available on some previous high-end Garmin straps.
No, so they removed something.
Seems like it, or at least is not mentioned for this model. It just shows that even within a specific product line, features can evolve and sometimes change focus.
All right, let's shift gears away from specific gadgets for a moment and delve into some fascinating meta-science topic. Beetroot juice for performance.
Yeah, beetroot juice. This comes from a comprehensive scientific meta-analysis, basically, a study of studies.
Right.
covering an impressive 20 systematic reviews and 180 individual primary research papers.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is. The key ingredient in beetroot juice that's believed to be responsible for any performance benefits is dietary nitrate.
Nitrate. Okay.
What's really interesting is that these nitrates play a crucial role in what's called the nitric oxide pathway in your body.
Uh-huh.
This pathway is responsible for generating about 80% of your total nitrate supply.
Okay, so why is that important for someone who's trying to improve their athletic performance? What does nitric oxide actually do in the body in this context?
Well, and this is slightly frustrating, but our source here cuts off at that exact crucial point.
Oh, seriously. Just when it gets good.
I know. However, the title of the article, Get Faster, very clearly suggests the intended benefit for athletes.
Right, you can guess the direction.
We can reasonably infer that nitric oxide plays a significant role in physiological processes that contribute to improved exercise performance. A more complete article would likely discuss things like improved blood flow, maybe a reduced oxygen cost of exercise, meaning you can do more work for the same effort,
Okay.
and potentially enhanced muscle function. But yeah, it's a good reminder that sometimes you need to dig into the full research to get the complete picture.
Absolutely. These snippets are often just the starting point for deeper understanding. Now let's pivot back to the world of technology and talk about virtual training. MyWhoosh, the online cycling platform that's free to use,
Right.
has just launched its version of 5.0.
Yeah, and this represents a pretty significant technical overhaul for MyWhoosh. For those who haven't been following along, MyWhoosh has been around for a few years, seeing regular updates, new virtual worlds, features. Initially, some users experienced issues with the platform's stability, but it seemed like later updates in the 3.x versions addressed many of those problems.
Okay, so it got better.
It did. However, it's worth noting that some early user reports suggest that version 5.0.0 might have introduced some new instabilities.
Common challenge with major software updates, right?
Very common. Things break.
So what are the key changes and improvements in this 5.0 release?
The primary focus appears to be on the underlying technology. The biggest change is an upgrade to the Unreal Engine 5.0 graphics engine.
Okay, so better graphics.
That's the promise. More visually appealing environments, potentially smoother performance across different devices.
Yeah.
Users now also have the flexibility to choose their preferred frame rate, either 30 or 60 frames per second.
Frame rate choice. Good.
Depending on your computer or tablet, yeah.
Yeah.
MyWhoosh also claims improvements to the accuracy of workout calculations, specifically in how training stress score, TSS, is determined.
Right, workout load.
Exactly. And finally, there are some minor tweaks to the user interface.
Okay. The 5K runner's takeout seems maybe a little underwhelmed, describing it as more of a significant technical performance update with few new features that users will directly notice.
Yeah, this is a feeling.
They even suggest it feels more like a version 4.5 than a full 5.0.
Ouch.
While they do acknowledge a smoother experience at 60 frames per second for those with high-end PCs, they emphasize that it's not really groundbreaking, more of a necessary step to catch up with what other platforms like Swift already offer visually.
Right, playing catch up.
They also mention a planned video comparing the graphics, but they anticipate some technical difficulties sharing the large files. Dropbox issues, maybe?
The joys of large video files.
Yeah.
This really underscores the competitive nature of the virtual cycling platform market. While MyWhoosh's free access is a major draw,
Huge draw.
it is, but they need to continuously innovate not just under the hood, but also in terms of new features, engaging content, to truly compete with established players like Swift. User stability and compelling new experiences will be crucial for their long-term success and, keeping users around.
Definitely. Okay, let's circle back to Garmin for a moment. Looks like there's been a new leak information suggesting a variant of what we anticipate being the Phoenix 8, but this one's specifically designed for pilots, reportedly called the D2 Mach 2.
Yeah, Garmin has this fascinating strategy of leveraging their core Phoenix platform for specialized devices.
They do it well.
They do. And the D2 Mach 2 seems to be another example. It's essentially expected to be a Phoenix 8, tailored for aviation pros and enthusiasts, likely using the same advanced hardware, that vibrant AMOLED screen,
Right.
but with a suite of software features crucial for flying. It's predicted to slot into their product range above the D2 Air X10, which, side note, is built on the Venue 2 Plus platform,
Okay, good clarification.
and alongside the premium MRRQ Aviator Gen 2, but hopefully at a more accessible price point than that super high-end MRRQ series.
So what kind of specialized features are we talking about for a watch aimed at pilots? Sounds pretty niche.
Oh, it's very specialized. Based on previous D2 models, we can anticipate a comprehensive set of tools. Things like a worldwide airport database, built-in altimeter with adjustable barometric setting.
Crucial.
Absolutely. A compass display with an HSI horizontal situation indicator helps with navigation. Support for Zulu and UTC time, syncing flight plans from Garmin's Pilot app, real-time NexRad weather radar on a moving map.
Wow, weather radar on your wrist.
Yeah. Detailed waypoint info, global database of nav aids, connectivity with Garmin's connected avionics systems, in-flight pulse ox monitoring.
Pulse ox at altitude, right.
Exactly. Various aviation-specific alerts, detailed weather forecasts like MOS and meteograms, an emergency fly mode, a density altitude calculator important for performance and support for METARs and TAFs, the standard aviation weather reports. It's a really powerful set of tools.
That is a lot of aviation-specific stuff. The 5K runner's takeout suggests that the official announcement might not be imminent, though.
Yeah, could still be a little while off.
They also point out an interesting trend where features from different Garmin lines, like dive tracking from the Descent series, are starting to appear in other Phoenix derivatives.
Right, that cross-pollination of features.
Yeah. Which leads to the question, will all Phoenix models eventually get every possible feature, or will some remain exclusive?
Good question. Hard to say.
And for those eagerly awaiting the next-gen Phoenix 8 Pro with rumored features like, say, a micro-LED display, this D2 Mach 2 leak doesn't really tell us anything new beyond its specific aviation focus.
No, it doesn't confirm or deny any of those broader Phoenix 8 rumors. It's more about Garmin continuing to cater to niche markets with their core wearable tech.
Makes sense. The reader comments on the 5K Runner site bring up some broader themes related to Garmin's ecosystem. There's mention of growing subscription fatigue among users.
We hear that a lot.
Yeah. And some reported issues with the accuracy of Garmin's altimeter.
Always a tricky sensor.
One commenter helpfully clarifies that the D2 Air X10 is indeed based on the Venue 2 Plus, correcting the source.
Good catch by the reader.
And interestingly, one user expresses considering switching to non-Garmin watches, citing a perceived decline in the quality or user-friendliness of Garmin Connect. That inshidification term came up.
Oh, strong word. Yeah, we have seen that sentiment sometimes in online communities. It highlights the importance of the software experience alongside the hardware. You can't neglect the app.
Absolutely not. Now let's turn our attention to another player in the competitive sports watch market, Suunto. They've recently announced a new watch called the Suunto RN.
Yes, the Suunto RN. It's positioned as a more budget-friendly alternative to their existing Suunto Race S, priced at $199 or €249, depending on the region.
Okay, so aiming lower in price.
Definitely. It's clearly aimed at directly competing with brands like Coros, Polar, and even some of Garmin's offerings at slightly higher price points. It's slated for release in early June next year, so 2025.
Gotcha.
When you look at the specs, it's interesting to compare it to key competitors like the Garmin Forerunner 165 Music, the Polar Pacer, Coros Pace Pro, and Suunto's own more premium Race S.
Right.
Notably, both the Suunto RN and the Garmin Forerunner 165 Music feature AMOLED displays.
Ah, AMOLED at that price point. Nice.
Yeah, they're becoming increasingly popular. Great colors, very readable.
So what are the key features of the Suunto RN, and where has Suunto made some trade-offs to hit that more accessible price?
The main differences seem to lie in a few key areas. Firstly, no onboard maps.
Okay, I mean, maps are out.
Yeah, instead it offers more basic breadcrumb-style navigation. You can follow a preloaded route, but without detailed map info underneath.
Like the older watches used to do.
Pretty much. Music support is also quite basic, limited to dragging and dropping MP3 files onto the watch.
No Spotify.
No streaming integration like Spotify or Apple Music. Payment functionality is also very limited, only Alipay and only in China.
Okay, so payments are basically non-existent outside China.
Correct. However, it does come equipped with GPS and a barometric altimeter.
Barometric altimeter is good, often more accurate for elevation.
It is. Durable Gorilla Glass for the display, a new heart rate sensor, and it uses the same energy-efficient Sony dual-frequency GNSS chipset found in some of their higher-end models.
Okay, so the core GPS chip is solid.
Seems so. The watch case itself is lighter, and it features a redesigned charging puck.
Are there any notable new software features that Suunto is introducing with the RON?
Yes, a couple. It comes with a pre-installed marathon feature that provides estimated finish times during a race. Could be really useful for pacing.
Yeah, like a virtual pacer.
Kind of. There's also a new feature called Track Mode, which they say is still in development. Importantly, Suunto has introduced an updated user interface and underlying software specifically for the Sunto RN.
A new UI.
Yeah, and it seems these changes are not expected to be rolled out to their other existing watches, apparently due to technical constraints.
Interesting. That might annoy some existing users.
Potentially. Some smaller additions include a cadence metronome to help with running rhythm and fueling alerts to remind you to eat or drink during longer efforts.
Okay, useful little extras. The 5K Runner's Takeout offers a somewhat refreshing perspective, suggesting that maybe sports watches have become too complex.
I can see that argument.
And that the Sunto RON offers a sufficient set of core features for most runners. They position it as a compelling alternative to the Garmin Forerunner 165 Music, particularly for triathletes who don't rely on power meter data.
Right, if you don't need cycling power.
They also praise the Sunto app for its usability and the overall aesthetics of the watch.
Sunto design is usually quite nice.
It is. While they see it as a strategically sound move for Sunto, it might not have the same dramatic impact as the Sunto Race S did when it launched. The recommendation is to definitely consider the Sunto RUN over some of the offerings from Garmin or Coros in this price range.
Interesting take. The reader comments on the 5K runner's analysis raised some good points, too. There's concern about the new operating system and whether its limitations might affect future updates or compatibility with older Sunto devices.
Yeah, that's a valid worry.
Some users are also questioning the peak brightness of the AMOLED display. How well will it perform in bright, sunny conditions?
Always a concern with AMOLED on watches.
Definitely. And interestingly, one commenter asks about data transfer to China, given Sunto's current ownership by a Chinese company.
The data privacy question?
Yeah, it highlights the increasing awareness and scrutiny around data privacy and security in wearables. It's on people's minds.
It certainly is. Now, let's dive into what is perhaps one of the most significant announcements in the wearable tech space this week. Whoop 5.0 and the introduction of the Whoop MG. This feels like a major evolution for Whoop.
Absolutely. It's not just a new generation of their strap, it's a whole new ecosystem. You've got two distinct strap options now, the standard Whoop 5.0 and the new Whoop MG.
MG, what's that stand for? Medical grade, maybe?
They haven't explicitly said, but that seems like a reasonable guess given the features. And along with the straps, they've restructured their membership into 3 tiers. Life, Peak, and One.
3 tiers now, okay.
Yeah. It's important to note, though, that the existing Whoop 4.0 will continue to function. Current memberships and the Whoop app have been upgraded to support the new structure.
So 4.0 users aren't left out immediately.
No. And Whoop is also offering free upgrades to members who recently signed up or those with over 12 months remaining on their subscription. We'll touch on that again later.
Okay. What's really striking is the clear differentiation between the new straps and membership levels. The Whoop MG, especially paired with the Life membership, seems positioned as their premium offering, focused on advanced health insights.
Exactly. The new features are quite extensive.
Can you walk us through some of the highlights? What's new?
Certainly. One of the key new areas is a focus on health span and what they're calling pace of aging, which includes a Whoop age metric.
Whoop age. Interesting concept.
Isn't it? They're also introducing daily blood pressure insights in a beta program, but that's only for the top Life tier members.
Estimated blood pressure, how does that work?
They haven't detailed the exact mechanism, but it's likely using sensor data like pulse transit time. It's trends, not diagnostic readings. And importantly, it's not FDA approved like a cuff.
Okay, good distinction. Beta trends.
Right. And the Whoop MG hardware has a significant exclusive feature, a built-in heart screener that can take on-demand electrocardiogram ECG readings.
ECG on Whoop, that's big.
It is. This feature has received FDA clearance for detecting atrial fibrillation AFib, a type of irregular heart rhythm, although there are specific usage guidelines and regional availability limitations.
Right, got to have the clearance and be in the right place. That's a major step into proactive health monitoring, though.
Huge step. What other new insights and features are included?
Well, there are also irregular heart rhythm notifications that will alert you to potential issues, separate from the on-demand ECG.
Okay, passive detection too.
They've introduced an AI-powered assistant that provides daily outlooks and personalized advice based on your data.
AI coach?
Kind of. Sort of. The step counter algorithm has apparently been improved for better accuracy. The accelerometers and gyroscopes within the straps have been enhanced for more precise activity tracking.
Good hardware improvements.
There's a new stress monitor for members on the Peak and Life tiers. The sleep performance metric has been reimagined, focusing more on overall sleep quality.
Mhm.
Women's hormonal insights are now included across all membership tiers, which is a great step towards more inclusive data.
It's really good to see a standard.
Yeah. And they're also planning to launch Advanced Labs soon, which will be a paid add-on for integrating and analyzing blood test results.
Okay, connecting lab data. That's interesting.
And the physical hardware of the straps themselves has also undergone some changes, right? Not just the sensors inside.
Yes, both the Whoop 5.0 and the Whoop MG are smaller and lighter than the 4.0,
Smaller is good.
and they feature a significantly faster processor. Battery life has seen a substantial improvement, now lasting over 14 days on a single charge.
14 days. That's massive for Whoop.
It really is. The Peak in Life membership tiers will come with a new wireless power pack for charging on the go,
Wireless charging, nice.
while the base 1 tier uses a traditional corded charger. The strap mechanism itself has been redesigned and is not compatible with Whoop 4.0 bands.
Ah, so need new bands.
Yep. Despite all these upgrades, they've maintained their signature screen-free design.
Still no screen.
Still no screen. The Whoop app has also been streamlined with a new interface, and there's better integration of strength training data into the health span metrics.
Okay, lots of changes there. The 5K Runners Takeout characterizes this update as significant and thoughtful, although they acknowledge that the new structure with different straps and membership tiers adds some complexity.
Yeah, it's a bit more confusing now.
They highlight the impressive 14-day battery life, the on-demand ECG, and the innovative blood pressure trend tracking as key improvements.
Those are the standouts.
They do note that there are more affordable fitness trackers available, but emphasize Whoop's clear focus on a health-conscious audience willing to invest in deeper data and insights.
Right, it's a premium health play.
While they point out that ECG functionality isn't entirely unique in the market anymore, they see the blood pressure insights as a particularly innovative feature.
Yeah, the BP trends are the novel part.
They also commend Whoop for including women's health features as standard and praise the overall Whoop app experience. They even anticipate that competitors will likely follow Whoop's increased emphasis on health span metrics.
It feels like health span is becoming the next big buzzword in wearables.
It does. However, the reader comments on the 5K runners analysis reveal some skepticism, particularly around the accuracy and utility of those estimated blood pressure readings.
Yeah, that's bound to draw scrutiny. Needs real-world validation.
Definitely. There are also questions about why major competitors like Polar or Garmin haven't yet launched similarly comprehensive and holistic health tracking solutions.
Good question. Different strategies, maybe.
Perhaps. Some commenters express disagreement with Whoop's pricing and perceived product-market fit, while others who are invested in the Garmin ecosystem express the desire for Garmin to integrate the type of detailed data insights that Whoop provides.
Right, that Garmin needs Whoop's brain argument. It highlights the different priorities and expectations within the wearable tech user base. Some want hardware, some want insights.
Exactly. It's also worth noting a bit of a saga surrounding Whoop's initial announcement of this new generation and their upgrade policy for existing members. Bit of drama there.
Yes, there was initially a change in their policy regarding free hardware upgrades for long-term subscribers. This sparked some negative feedback from their user base.
Understatement, maybe.
Probably. Many pointed to previous commitments Whoop had made. However, in response to this backlash, Whoop has since reversed course on that initial policy.
Okay, so they backtracked.
They did. They are now offering free upgrades to existing members who have over 12 months remaining on their subscription, which primarily applies to those who initially signed up for a 2-year commitment and also to new customers who opt for a 12-month subscription.
Got it. The 5K Runners Takeout on this policy reversal states that while the initial plan might have seemed reasonable from a business perspective, Whoop ultimately made the right decision by backtracking and honoring their previous commitments.
Doing the right thing, essentially.
Yeah. They do point out, though, that those subscribers with 6 to 12 months remaining on their current membership might still feel somewhat overlooked by the revised policy.
Yeah. There's always someone just outside the cutoff.
A reader comment succinctly captures this sentiment, calling the revised approach more reasonable but still expressing a fundamental dislike for the subscription model due to the lack of any resale value for the hardware.
That's the core issue with subscription hardware, isn't it? You never really own it.
Pretty much. Finally, let's discuss the new Garmin Forerunner 970. This appears to be a very significant upgrade compared to the already impressive Forerunner 965.
Yeah, the 970 looks like a beast. It's priced at $750, available very soon. The hardware and design have undergone some notable evolutions.
Okay, what's changed?
It features a new user interface that aligns with the look and feel of the Fenix 8 series. It incorporates Garmin's on-demand ECG app.
ECG comes to the Forerunner line, finally.
Yep. Promises more accurate tracking of exercise activities, includes a skin temperature sensor, another metric popping up more.
Seeing that everywhere now.
A built-in LED flashlight, which can be surprisingly useful.
Actually, yeah, very handy.
A durable sapphire crystal lens for the display. Interestingly, while the overall size is slightly thinner, it's also a bit heavier than the 965.
Thinner but heavier.
And it now includes a built-in speaker and microphone. The display size is also fractionally smaller.
Speaker and mic, so calls on the wrist.
Exactly. The battery life sees a mix of changes depending on how you use it. It's reported to be slightly shorter in standard smartwatch mode and when using GPS on its own.
Shorter? That's surprising.
But it offers longer battery life when using Garmin's SATiQ mode, which intelligently selects the best GPS mode and in multi-band GNSS mode, especially when you're also listening to music.
Okay, so better in the power-hungry modes.
Seems like it. Garmin has also introduced customizable battery profiles, giving you more control over power management.
Good. And the new smart features. You mentioned calls.
Right. Significant additions here. Ability to make and receive phone calls, send text messages using your voice when paired with a smartphone.
Via the phone connection, right, not LTE itself.
Correct. Relies on the phone. It also includes a VIRB remote function for controlling Garmin's action cameras, support for Bluetooth phone calling and voice assistance, and even voice commands for interacting with the watch.
Lots more smarts then.
Definitely. On the health and wellness front, the Forerunner 970 adds skin temperature tracking, further enhancements to the ovulation estimate features for women's health, and a new evening report that summarizes your day's activity and sleep.
Okay, rounding out the health picture.
For workouts and training plans, it now includes direct support for Garmin's Triathlon Coach and the ability to create and follow multi-sport structured workouts.
Useful for triathletes.
Very. There are also several new exclusive activity profiles and some interesting additions to running features. Although some of these advanced metrics, like that step speed loss and running economy, do require the new HRM 600 chest strap we discussed earlier.
Ah, tying it back to the new strap. Makes sense.
Other new features include dynamic round-trip routing, which can now be adjusted mid-activity, auto-lap triggered by timing gates, useful for track workouts, and a suggested finish line time prediction for races.
Some nice software tweaks.
Yeah. Surprisingly, at least for now, there are no new features locked behind Garmin's Connect Plus subscription service.
Oh, that is surprising. Maybe they're holding back for now.
Could be. The 5K Runner's Takeout highlights the significant additions in hardware speaker Thermic, flashlight, sapphire lens, new health metrics like skin temp and ECG, and various software enhancements. They note the mixed battery life compared to the 965 and suggest that for some users, the 970 could be a more capable and potentially lighter alternative to the Fenix 8.
Lighter than a Fenix 8. Interesting angle.
Yeah. The reader comments on the 5K Runner's analysis show a lot of comparisons to the Fenix series, some questioning the overall value proposition of the 970.
Right. Is it worth the price jump?
And even suggesting that there's now less compelling reason to purchase a Fenix 8.
Ooh, cannibalizing their own market.
Potentially. There are also comments on the watch's design, concerns about battery life in certain scenarios, anticipation for a potential LTE-enabled variant in the future.
People always want LTE.
Always. Some users are comparing it to the Epix Pro series, which has a similar AMOLED display, and there are questions about the accuracy of its strength tracking features.
Strength tracking is always tricky for watches.
It really is. Finally, we have the revamped Huawei Watch Fit 4 Pro. It's interesting to see Huawei offering features reminiscent of the high-end Apple Watch Ultra 2.
Like offline maps and diving.
Exactly. Offline maps for trail running, significant diving capabilities, but at a much more accessible price point of £249.99.
That's a big price difference. It certainly seems to pack a lot of functionality for the money.
It does. It boasts a premium-build titanium alloy case, sapphire glass display, aerospace-grade aluminum bits.
Titanium and sapphire at that price. Wow.
Yeah. A bright 1.82-inch AMOLED screen, and it remains very lightweight. Key features include an upgraded dual-frequency GNSS for more accurate positioning, full-color offline maps for navigation.
Offline maps are huge.
The ability to import routes from Komoot, waypoint guidance, a bag tracking feature to help you retrace your steps, and built-in barometric altimeter.
got the key navigation sensors.
It also offers dedicated sports tracking modes for trail running with topo maps, golf with preloaded course maps and swing analysis, free diving down to 40 meters with detailed metrics and safety reminders,
40-meter free diving, okay.
and even a mode for mountaineering. The claimed battery life is up to 10 days, maybe 7 with typical usage, and it fully charges in just an hour.
Fast charging, too.
The 5K Runner's Takeout emphasizes the impressive specifications, especially noting the titanium sapphire and onboard topo maps at this price point.
Yeah, the materials and maps stand out.
But they do raise valid questions about the real-world usability of the Huawei app and the broader ecosystem. How well does it all actually work together?
Right, the software experience matters.
And they inquire whether a full in-depth review would be of interest to their audience. Reader comments on their site touch on some past limitations of Huawei's app on iOS devices.
Always a concern with cross-platform compatibility.
Questions about its compatibility with iPhones in the US, given current restrictions, and a request for clarification on its support for external cycling sensors, particularly power meters. The initial info might have been unclear there.
Okay. Power meter support is key for serious cyclists. Well, that was an incredibly comprehensive look at a week packed with exciting developments. Sports, health, wellness tech.
So much going on.
We covered everything from sleep optimization, advanced wearables, the science of supplements, virtual training.
It truly highlights the rapid pace of innovation in this field. We're seeing a clear trend towards more integrated health monitoring, the continued evolution of subscription services,
Subscriptions everywhere.
and increasing competition across all segments of the market, which means, more choices than ever before for you.
So as you absorb all this information about the latest advancements, from sleep systems that learn your patterns to watches that offer in-depth physiological data, even potential early warnings about your health, it really makes you think. How do you navigate this ever-evolving landscape? How do you find the tools and technologies that best support your individual goals and well-being? What are the key features that truly resonate with you? And how do you balance that desire for more data with the need for, well, simplicity and actionable insights in your own fitness journey?
Those are crucial questions for you to ponder, definitely. We highly encourage you to explore the sources we've discussed today, especially the detailed analysis available over at the 5K Runner's website for even more in-depth information and perspectives.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this has given you a clearer understanding of the week's most important news and insights. We'll catch you next time.